Let me ask you a direct question, Mr. Bhamre. Why has your department been so reckless towards the usage of chalk?
First of all,
The question is simple, Mr. Bhamre. Why did the comms department waste so much of chalk? Did you feel that this scam would go unnoticed?
give me time to speak, Arnab. Then only I.
Okay, you have my 2 minutes. Go on. Explain.
Okay, so let me start with what happened last year when there was a similar issue regarding the IT department.
Stop running away from the topic, Mr. Bhamre. Let me open the debate by getting in Mr. Abhankar.
Good morning, Mr. Arnab. The case with IT department was totally different. There was no CCTV footage found, and here you have been caught red-handed. Stop being a liar, Mr. Bhamre. Everyone knows your department misuses chalk during the placement period.
Don't get into placements, Mr. Abhyankar. Why are you being this stupid?
You're stupid. Your department is stupid. Getting into Morgan Stanley won't save you here, Mr. Bhamre. And for your kind information, we have been winning the dance competition
This
for
time
5
to
years
be
now.
logical. There is no
Mr.
relevancy
Bhamre,
what are
Mr.
you
Bhamre,
saying?
stop screaming. Screaming won't prove anything. We all are civilized citizens here.
Yes.
Let me get in Miss Aglaway here. Miss Aglaway is a reputed Mahila Samiti leader. Miss Aglaway, do you think that the male faculty is using more chalks than the female faculty?
Arnab, it is a disgrace to our institute that women are treated like this by a reputed department. We need justice and we will fight for it.
Okay,
We
wait.
can't
Joined
take
with
it
us is a senior journalist of Spark Magazine, Miss Adia.
Arnab, see, this is a very serious issue and should be dealt with sensitively. We should make sure scams like this are
Miss
addressed
Adia,
and
talking about
Ladies and
scam, what about the
gentlemen,
scam regarding
thank you
Spark?
all for joining in on the News Hour debate number 1. On the other side is the News Hour debate number 2.
9 p.m. in India is hallmarked by such a ruckus. India is touted to be the superpower, unsettling the likes of United States of America and China. But for that to happen, the four wheels of a Lamborghini should be well functioning. But sadly, as it stands right now, journalism is at its lowest ebb. Where previously, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak and his brainchild, Maratha and Kesari, were the pioneers in galvanizing the nation in order to attain freedom. At this point in time, it is all but soap opera. So, in order to know what journalism actually means, let's find out what that is. It is an activity of gathering, accessing, creating, and presenting news and information. The objective over here is to provide valid, genuine information in the most pure form and to service the public in its own stead. I would like to call the purpose of journalism over here is to provide authentic information and serve as an independent monitor of power and make this significant and interesting. To know what sensationalism actually means in Indian context, let me call Ganesh.
Sensationalism is content that is controversial, shocking, and attention grabbing.
So just like the picture tells us, this journalist is trying to hype a very minuscule or trivial information like a plant and blow it out of proportion. What sensationalism is, it is the style of reporting news to the public to either create fear, anger or excitement in order to get three things: viewership, ratings and profits.
Whoa, that was Chaitanya Bapat's version of what sensationalism is. Let me tell you in layman's language. Dog bites man. This is the old news. Man bites dog. This is a sensationalized news. This creates the hype. For example, Modi travels to US.
No, it is the Prime Minister of India who is going to United States for a 10-day trip just to meet other nations where India is at its low at 5% deflation.
Or maybe India lose a close encounter with Australia.
It's not just the Indian team, it is the hopes of billions of people that is shattered just because one particular Virat Kohli is busy romanticizing with Anushka Sharma.
Look at this guy. This guy is accused of being a Eve teaser.
He is not accused. He is the real perpetrator and he just does not deserve a minor criminal offense, but he needs to be hanged. And this is what sensationalism actually is. To know what ethics of journalism actually mean, let me call Damini.
So, what is meant by ethics? Ethics is the dynamic, evolving activity of applying, balancing and modifying principles in the light of new facts, new technology, new social attitudes and changing economic and political conditions. According to the above definition, who is said to be an ethical journalist? An ethical journalist is the one who informs the public as well as the government about the important events, who acts as a watchdog to the abuses of power of both government and public, as well as it performs the platform for discussion of important views and opinions.
It's a lotion of the shit. Just like the image tells us, the professor is trying to teach the basic ethics course in journalism. And over here, the student is Rupert Murdoch, who is obviously very surprised to know that it is illegal and unethical to try to hack into a phone of a murdered girl. Now, ethical reasoning actually has 4 stages. The first one is to create an awareness that the ethical problem really exists.
We have to analyze the case.
And after analyzing, you need to evaluate and consider the judgment.
We also have to take actions accordingly and review one's decision later. Thus, journalism ethics is a skill that can be developed and improved through study and patience. Now I call Shivangi. Sorry.
In order to know what ethical problems exist in India, let me call Rana.
So the ethical problems in India are these. First, paid news. The major dilemma faced by an Indian journalist is ethics or economics. Economics always wins this. As news is bought and sold, people are affected with credible loss of information. Second, opaque private treaties. In 2008, Mysco Monsanto, a genetically modified crop manufacturing company, successfully suppressed the news of how genetically modified crops could harm the people by creating a secret treaty with TOI. Eventually, TOI diverted this important news to the case of farmer committing suicides in 2 villages. Third, blatant blackmail. In 2012, senior editors of the television channel Zee News were arrested for allegedly demanding 100 crore rupees from Jindal Power and Steel Limited. In return for this, the payoff they offered was to dilute their network's campaign against the company found in the coal scam. The blackmail was exposed when JSPL chairman and Congress MP Naveen Jindal conducted a reverse sting on the network's executives.
Fourth, widening legal regulatory gap. A photojournalist tipped that certain ads in newspaper were published as news for fees. Instead of investigating over this matter, the Press Council issued guidelines to distinguish news from ads and also asked to consider how their credibility is affected because of such news. Fifth, flawed measurements of audience reach and readership. An English daily had certified circulation of 60,000 readers in Nagpur Viprara. However, according to a survey conducted in the same area, it was found that newspaper was read by no one. 6. Self-proclamation by media houses. CNN, IBN, Exchange for Media, Times Now, Headlines Today, all have won the Best News Channel of the Year award. Thus, every news channel is the best, which creates a market for sensationalism in journalism and selling of news continues. Now I call Shiva.
Let us now see the causes of sensational journalism. The first being competition.
More than 100 news channels are battling it out to reign supreme. Media is often hailed as the 4th pillar of democracy. However, it is the only pillar that is completely privately owned. Another unique feature about this is that media, unlike any other private business, there has been a lack of quality with increasing competition.
In the rat race for more viewers, TRPs, media houses resort to sensationalism and twisted manufactured news.
Media houses want to ensure audience loyalty across all platforms like print, television, and online.
Something that Times of India has been achieving consistently. So stuck with the news that puts you to sleep? Wake up with Times of India.
I would rather read The Hindu, which also has pages 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and has space for business leaders, not just cheerleaders. And because government malfunctions are much more important than wardrobe malfunctions.
We congratulate the competition for finally waking up.
As you can see, this is just an example of how competition between 2 heavyweights, the Hindu and the TOI, resulted in readers getting pages full of taunts aimed at one another instead of genuine news.
Let us now look at the second aspect, the monetary aspect. Media houses, like any other business houses, require funds and investments to continue functioning and keep the factory rolling.
More the number of subscribers, more will be the revenue generated. Newspapers with better editorials and articles cost higher. For example, The Hindu, which is filled with editorials written by scholars, costs rupees 8, whereas TOI, which earns through a plethora of advertisements, costs just rupees 4.
When speaking about sensationalism in journalism, how can we miss out on glamour and fame? Everybody wants to know the who's who of the industry. Everyone wants to know what's going on between Deepika and Ranveer. The lives of rich, famous and beautiful are a subject of curiosity to the common.
Media has become glamorized. News anchors have become more important than news. Views are presented as news. Bites, counterbites, and high decibel debates constitute majority content on news channel. These are the primary reasons behind sensationalism in journalism. But why does sensationalism persist and why is it so successful? To tell us more about it, we have Shri Prasad taking over.
According to Indian television viewership ratings, Times Now tops the English news network category with a dominant 46% share for the year 2014-15. However, in a survey conducted by US, 80% people voted Arnab Goswami, editor-in-chief, Times Now Network, as the most sensationalized news presenter.
What are the reasons behind this success? Scientific aspects of success. Sensationalism results in fear or excitement. The overwhelming response to this type of journalism is fight or flight. The problem is the person does not get a chance to return to normal because the report continues to come in as long as the story tells.
Economic aspect. A simple logic is followed. The increase in the number of readers leads to an increase in the advertisement and sponsors, which eventually leads to an increase in profit. So to increase the number of viewers, sensationalism is becoming a necessity.
Highlight the importance. Consider the controversy which leads to a ban of Maggi in India. Food Safety and Drug Administration of Uttar Pradesh found monosodium glutamate, which can cause headache, nausea. The lead amount was 7 times that of permitted. Sensationalizing of this issue highlighted the need of ensure marketing of safe packaged food.
Everybody still shudders thinking about the night of December 2012 when an innocent girl Nirbhaya was raped by 5 men. Sensationalizing of this pressurized the government to promulgate the Criminal Law Ordinance 2013. 6 new fast-track records have been set up only for rape cases. These laws have not only ensured a safer society for women, but have also encouraged victims to come forth and fight for justice. I now call Ronak to continue with audience responsibility.
Just as the media and journalists have ethical responsibilities, an ethical public should also bear certain responsibilities. The responsibilities of the readers are:
The first type of responsibility is identifying sensational news. This can be done if consumer reads or listens to news from a variety of sources, even if he or she doesn't agree with them. Identifying and differentiating between faking news and breaking news is the primary responsibility of the consumer.
second, tell journalists when you think they are wrong. Constructive criticism is always welcome at any private business, and media houses are no different. Journalism is a two-way process. The media cannot improve if consumers don't read and react. Earlier, the Times of India correcting and acknowledging its mistakes and misprints the next day was a common sight. However, this has become a rarity.
The next responsibility is reading editorial page. Reading just page 3 is not an act of responsibility. Editorials are best source of raw information, interesting and thought-provoking articles written by scholars and accomplished writers.
Fulfillment of these responsibilities can lead to better journalism. We now have Ganesh to walk us through the case studies.
Let's talk about the much hyped Sheena Bora murder case.
Or the curious case of Indrani Mukherjee, as suggested by Times. We all are familiar with this case as it received too much of media attention.
At the same time, Indrani's family tree is more complicated than the analysis of Ipsot algorithm.
There has been no crime worse in the history of humanity than the suspected murder case of Sheena Bora by her mother Indrani.
Amidst all the limelight that the Sheena Bora murder case enjoyed, the same weekend the Syrians were seeking refuge, the Tajikistan was battling home rebels, and Myanmar was ready to go to the polls. However, the Indian media remained more committed to Indrani than her supposed alibis could ever be.
It seemed that the Indian media had found its favorite soap of the season in the Indrani's business.
The media alternated between unnecessarily sensationalizing the whole issue and bidding for maximum viewership with a more tempting catchphrase.
In the process, the more uninformed public was left to make its own set of assumptions, drawing conclusions from a pool of irresponsible news reporting. Social networking sites were flooded overnight with memes of the victim.
As we speak, a high-profile murder with multiple leads is being tried in public field of vision over 3 years after the actual offense was committed. the media seems to be enjoying the opportunity for exercising its imagination that the story seems to provide.
DNA India came up with a seemingly amusing cover story that reduced the individual players of the murder to mere alphabetical variables.
Hindustan Times drew up a list of horror movies, delightfully equating each with the real life victim.
Even the otherwise judicious, The Hindu, came up with headers like cast and plot of a real life soap opera.
What could have served as a superb case study for cold blooded homicides had sadly become an internet joke.
Let me now call Chaitanya to take you through the last session.
For Indians, cricket is definitely just more than a sport.
It is their religion and their way of life. It is their alpha and omega.
It is love for this gentleman's game that is exploited by the media. Sensationalized news is often harmful for both the team as well as the public.
At the beginning of ICC Cricket World Cup 2015, Indian team was considered to be as an incompetent and weak team. The hopes of retaining the prestigious ICC Cricket World Cup, which had won in 2009, were labelled far-fetched and impossible. However, the Indian team reached the semi-final stage and, oh my god, they faced the mighty Aussies. Now, the fixture was considered to be the most important one and they lost. However, the team went down fighting.
Just when the Congrats Australia was starting to trend on Twitter, Times Now decided to take the other route and suggested that the Indian team had let 1 billion fans down. Now, after that, Times Now started. Times Now started with the trend "Shamed in Sydney" on television with a panel of journalists. After one of the users tweeted with the hashtag "Shamed in Sydney" was quickly replaced by "Shame on Times Now."
This is an excellent case of how Indian media houses attempt to sensationalize news backfired horribly. The audience acted responsibly and forced Times Now to realize their mistake. In today's society, journalism is under close scrutiny and is losing its credibility. Sensationalism affects both the one who receives it and the one who reports it. In conclusion, it is evident that sensationalism has become deeply entrenched in media, leaving the public paying a high price through the loss of credible source of information. However, sensationalism in journalism will persist as long as there is a market for unethical journalism.
We will be back with more news as soon as we make up some.
17 correct.
तेरे को नहीं लगता अपना थोड़ा ज़्यादा होना चाहिए 17 will be too less.
अरे आता आपण जात